they're forward thinking, then doing a lot of good in the community. And that to me, it's what they mean. It's more than a soccer club. I know it sounds a little bit cliche, kind of like Barcelona, Messi un club, but it is kind of more than a soccer club for a lot of people.
Hello and welcome back to Forever a Lion podcast. This week I am joined by my fellow host of Loud and Proud Orlando. We every week talk about everything to do with Orlando Pride, Orlando City. But this week it's a little different because I'm interviewing him, and we're going to talk a little bit about his relationship with the club and how he got here. I'm going to let him introduce himself. How are you, my friend, Luis Carlos Pineda?
Well, yeah, thank you, John, for the invite, and to everybody that's watching Forever a Lion. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe and drop your thumbs up and drop your comments. No, it's a little weird because usually we do this and we have a bunch of topics to talk about Orlando, but in this scenario, I'm delighted to be with you. On a friendship level and talk a little bit about me, which I never do. I tend not to talk about me at all, but it's kind of fun the type of format that you have. So I'm here to just have fun and just answer any questions you may have today.
Yeah, it's a different kind of pod, right? We're always talking about the team and like transfers and the club and all the staff and ambitions. And this is really about the people of the club. So we started with Kay and we talked to her about the founding time and obviously that she's been a staff member there forever. Then last episode, if you haven't seen it, I talked with Dennis and we
Yeah,
talked all
amazing
about
interview with both of them.
yeah, he's such a great guy and was there from the start of USL and is still in and around the club and has become such a key figure for Orlando City and representing us. And now I want to hear a little bit more about the fan perspective, Luis, but also the media perspective, because you are, of course, one of the Orlando City accredited media, and you go every game, driving from Tampa. But how did that all come about? So, how did your relationship with Orlando City start, and what brought you to Orlando?
Well, number one is my name is Luis Carlos Pineda. If you guys don't know me, I'm a founder and podcast host with John here of LPO, Loud and Proud Orlando. Well, it started as in the pandemic, essentially. Just kind of everything was shut down. And I was going through. I lost my job 3 times. Like it was pretty bad times in my
I
family.
lost 3 jobs during the
Yeah,
pandemic too.
it was like I would get hired and then fired because of staff, and I was the new guy. And so, I have a podcast in Spanish that I have called Ladra el Fútbol, and it talks about more of Peruvian soccer and South American, Copa Libertadores matches and go over analysis and all of that. And one time, another channel that kind of had me as a host invited Alonso Contreras. And so Alonso said, "Hey, you live in the States, you live in Orlando, I'm in Seattle." And he was already pretty established with Area Sports Network. And so what happened was I had kind of like a minor in journalism, and I never really used it, at all. Never really dived in too deep into that segue, but I already had the background of digital media and podcasting. And so I said, hey, Alonso said, hey, let me bring you in and kind of show you the ropes. And so that's where our friendship kind of started. And the first year I covered for Area Sports, I covered Orlando Pride. And that was where the dark times of Orlando Pride.
Yeah, that was the first ever year of Orlando Pride.
Yeah.
It
And
was the
then
inaugural season, right?
Yeah, and then I was getting 1 or 2 Orlando City games, I think the first year, because obviously you're new and there's already people that were way more established than me at that point with bigger outlets like the mainland. Say hello to Michael Citro and also people from Orlando Sentinel at that time that were there. So, it kind of started there. So with the pandemic and the masks and all of that crazy stuff.
Was that down at MLS's back? Did you cover any of that?
It was a little after.
A little after that. Okay.
Yeah, it was a little after that. Pretty much that's where it started. A year after that, I was a year in area sports, a year and a few months. Essentially, Alonso moved from Seattle to Orlando. And so at that point, they really didn't need a Orlando City person because, they cover every single team in the MLS because Alonso was going to switch to Orlando City. And so I want to say I had an idea with first with Alonso to kind of do some sort of digital media and a podcast for Orlando City at first. It didn't pan out the way we wanted to. It didn't really work out, and so then I branched on my own. Uh, I remember I called, Jackie Maynard at that time, and I said, "Hey, I'm no longer with Area Sports, but I want to start my own outlet. This is the name I have. Do you have any advice? Because I'm the type of person that I don't know, like I can always learn something from someone. It doesn't matter if they're the person who's down the street selling shoes or the biggest CEO in a company. I think I can there's always more knowledge. So because she's at the time the director of communications, I asked her, it's like because there was a report with her when I worked there, and she's like, "Hey, we love your work. We will love for you to still cover the team. But yeah, just let me know when you get that established, and then we'll support you fully." And so that was really cool. And so that's when we started with Loud and Proud Orlando, and I started covering the team fully with Loud and Proud Orlando, driving from Tampa. It was a little bit of a hassle, but moving to Tampa was a family decision. It was a good job opportunity for my wife. At the time, I was working from home. It just made more sense for us to kind of move wherever she was going to work and get that opportunity to move up within what she does. And so I supported her and we moved. I still got to cover the team. Literally, LPO was born out of promoting Orlando City and Orlando Pride. The love for the city. I tend to say I grew up in Orlando. I was born in Peru, but Orlando is the only city. That's the city that I lived essentially my adolescence and then my adulthood. I met
UCF, right?
Fred. Right. So I had this emotional, deep connection and also a little bit of being a little homesick by living over there. And so I wanted to truly be a part to not only promote Orlando City, but also the MLS internationally with my other pod. So, kind of be a face that will stick up for the MLS in a journalistic world, which is South America, that really hates the MLS. So because there's no, all kinds of different rules and things like that, they don't get that. And
Yeah.
so me, I'm there to kind of be that little beacon of hope there
Mhm.
to kind of do that. And so that's how kind of it is sprung out with Loud and Proud at that time.
I mean, bringing that obviously, like me, coming from a country where football, not soccer, is the dominant sport and everybody knows it. And then when you come to the US, did you kind of have that impression of, hey, I want to be able to talk about the sport I love, interact with the sport I love, but that's not here? And then you go searching for that. Is that how you first heard about Orlando City? Obviously you started working there because of the pride, but what was the first game you went to, or the first ever time that you heard anything about Orlando City?
So I obviously, as you already know, I love soccer. I grew up in Peru with soccer. All my whole family loves soccer except my dad. Actually, my dad actually is not a it's not a such a big soccer fan. You would
Okay,
imagine he's more of like a rocker, and
right.
so but
Are they
my
all Alliance fans? Is that Alliance
not
Lima?
all of them actually,
No.
not all of them. I'm actually the
Okay.
only one. I'm actually the only one in my family
All right.
that's an Alianza Lima fan. Everybody else is Universitario, which is the rival team, which is the craziest
Oh,
part.
so
Yeah,
is that it? Just kind of like in England, right? It would be like, oh, if your dad's a Liverpool fan, you have to be a Liverpool fan, and if
yeah,
you support Everton, that would be bad, right? So
yeah,
is that a bit of that
yeah.
going on here?
It is kind of like that. So
Okay,
I've always kind of gone against the grain,
you
and
chose Lima as your team.
yeah. So it was. I always grew up on that soccer culture, And so coming into the United States at age 14, my parents got a really good job opportunity here in America. I went to a bilingual school in Peru. So the adaptation really wasn't as other people would, right? With the customs and the language. So I was kind of more of like a plug and play, like I usually say, when it comes to school and even work. And so, but I fell in love with the city. Like I fell in love with the city. So the first time I actually heard about Orlando City, I went to Seminole State College. I did my AA there,
Yeah.
and then I did my
Is that up in,
bachelor's
where's that?
in
Where was
Sanford.
that? Got it. The
Sanford.
Sanford location.
Yep,
Yeah.
Sanford. Yep. So first time I heard about Orlando City was in 2011.
Okay.
It
So like
was
right in that USL first year.
right 2011. Nobby Solano, which is one of the most successful Peruvian players that ever played the Premier League, played for Newcastle United.
Yep. I
And
remember that.
so I grew up when I was in Peru with Nobby Solano posters, him with his Newcastle United shirt,
Yeah.
with the NTL logo of the telephone company, with Alan Shearer. I'm not so much of a Newcastle fan, but I always have a deep respect for them because of Nobby. And so when I heard that or that there was a soccer team in Orlando that was going to play Newcastle United with Colaccini, with Taylor, with Amobi, I think it was
Yeah.
at that
Shola
time.
Amiobi.
Amiobi, yeah.
Was Demba Ba there at the time, or was that
No,
later?
Dembaba wasn't there, but it
That was
was
later.
there was another African kid that was really good at that time. But Colaccini was there, and they were going to come.
Mm,
Gutierrez was there. Gutierrez was
yeah.
there.
I remember that.
So a lot of those players.
Sam Rustin had a really good winger. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Now we're just naming old Newcastle players.
So they were coming to play with Orlando City, and I said, "Hell, I'm gonna go." I remember my mom one Christmas got me a bootleg Newcastle jersey of Nobby Solano, and so I went originally to see Newcastle. Inadvertently, I got to see Orlando City, and what really fascinated me was the crowd. First experience of seeing literally a crowd so passionate. And another thing was the colors of the jersey. At the time in that game, they were using the red and white, and which are the
Yeah.
Peruvian flag colors. So I'm like, oh man, so I really love the kit. And so that really spun for truly in 2012, me becoming a season pass holder. So it was me and my then girlfriend became season pass holders for the USL 2012, 2013, 2014. And then, that's essentially how, 14 years ago, yesterday was actually the Newcastle, it was July 23rd.
Yes, that Newcastle game was a lot of controversy. I'm not going to spoil it all, but it was, let's just say Alan Pardew was a
Yeah,
real,
Alan Pardew,
he
he
caused some
was mad.
problems for us. But it was a huge game for the club because for where we were in USL, for having really never played many games at all, ever, we were a brand new team. To then play Newcastle was a huge get. And
With
that
their
really,
eight, with,
like, it perfectly shows, right? You wouldn't have heard of Orlando City if it wasn't for the fact that we played that one game against Newcastle. You come down, and I think at that era in USL, anybody who came to a game was just instantly like, "Oh, I'm coming back for another game," because it was like we'd win every week. Everyone was having a great time. The tailgates,
the tailgates.
all that stuff. So that kind of leads me nicely to what is your favorite sort of off-field memories? And this can't be anything that's like a play on the field or a goal or anything like that. This is something that you remember, is like one of your favorite things about Orlando City or a specific moment that's not on the field.
Well, definitely, it was a togetherness that the crowds had around that time. That's one. That's what truly coming from going to Magic games for
Mm.
dates, and it was losing. I went to the Lakers Orlando Magic final. I got to see Kobe Bryant, but I got to see Kobe Bryant destroy Dwight Howard in a brand new arena that they built for Dwight Howard, and then he left the year after.
I
So
remember
and
that.
then going to the Amway. So I mean, then the Solar Bears sucked. Then I worked for Westgate Resorts at some point. They own the Predators. So I was going to see the indoor folk. It sucks. So seeing a soccer team, it was huge for me because I love the sport. And so it was like, man, this whole new world and seeing the people happy and that camaraderie of like, even though the workers will talk to you and like make you feel like family, that really made me become a season pass holder. Like literally, I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get the season pass in 2012. But if I have to say an off field memory, I will say recently uh,
Okay.
how the ILF and the crowd took over Alang Stadium in Tampa. That was epic. I mean, that
Yeah.
was so impressive because you guys probably were marching there thinking I'm just doing what I do in every game. For the like, what I was hearing was this is impressive. We've never seen this before. This was coming from Rowdy's fans. I was right there. I
Yeah.
came an hour or two before you guys arrived,
Mm.
so I was there from early. Literally, I left work and I just went to the stadium. And so it was impressive seeing you guys come and the purple smoke and then the cops running, thinking that something's happening. And then the staff running, seeing like, what the hell's going on? But it was just such a like balls to the wall moment. Like here I come. Look who we are. We are Orlando City. Like we're coming and take over your town and spray paint on it and put OCSC on it, and we don't care, And it was inevitable, and it was such a huge moment because I saw that Rowdy's rivalry since inception. So it's been to me covering Orlando a full circle moment in every step of the way. That's why I'm so passionate about it. Because, as you know, the USL era, the championships, and then closing circle to getting the MLS bid, and then the US Open Cup, and then the Pride Championship, and then now taking over Tampa. Like it's just amazing times for me.
Yeah. I mean, that I feel like it threw me back 10 years to when we used to go in USL and the I-4 Derby, and we would do that, and we'd pop smoke and take over the stadium. And but we would do that at our own stadium every week as well with the tailgate. And so a lot of that, it's changed a lot of the way that we do game days now as you get bigger and things
Yeah,
change
of
and
course. There's more
lives
rules.
change, and people move on, and maybe it's not the same group of people that did it before, right? Like, but I think those that game in particular reminded me of the old days. And yeah, like you said, it was a great video you got there from the press box
Yeah,
of
and then
the
and
purple
then
smoke going off.
and then
Yeah,
you
I mean,
know
5-0 that Caraballo, the 16-year-old, like, nothing says we're gone way past you
it's
than our
over.
academy kid has cooked
Yeah.
you. So yeah, that's a great shout there, Luis. That was a memory that will live on in my head forever. What is your favorite on-field memory then from Orlando City? I think this has got to be tough. There's been so many great moments that you've witnessed from, either when USL went from the stands, and then MLS in the press box.
Definitely, we are a team that, at least since USL era, it's not the players that, and I don't know if it's just coincidence or just really that there's like it fits the personality of each front office. But I remember the Newcastle game that I was mentioning and how Orlando City, this small amateur club, really like took a win against a Premier League team, which they became the embarrassment. Those past 3 years, they were embarrassment. Everybody remember that game in the UK. And then seeing that same attitude with the front office bringing kids like Kyle Laren and seeing it with some signings like Yoshi Yotun and at some point there DK. But I think to me it's just the US Open Cup definitely was a full circle moment. It was the first championship for Orlando City as a major league club, a very respectable cup. Also the pride. I think the pride, seeing that the whole chaos the years before, now this beautiful rose blossoming in the middle of the garden with a cup attached to it. It was just full circle. And it's just it's just exactly it. It's full circle because I've been through every step, and I get to appreciate those accomplishments a little bit more, and also see how much not only means to the athletes, but it means to the people behind. So the people behind that insecurity and the OC kitmen and the people that a lot of people may not notice, but are very important for the logistics of the team. And it was a tremendous win for them too. And it was good to see them, embrace each other and be happy as well. That was pretty much my favorite Orlando City memories.
Yeah, I think that 2012 win is going to be a lot of people on this pod are going to choose that, I'm sure, as one of their favorite on field memories. Just an
The running on the
amazing
wall was
game.
cool too. The running on the wall
Yeah,
was,
definitely honorable mention. Running of the
yeah.
wall. I mean, there's iconic, I say, Orlando City moments in MLS that everybody will remember. All right, Luis, who is your favorite Orlando City player of all time? You can have honorable mentions for this, for
Carlos
sure.
Asquez. No, just joking.
You're a straight Peruvian.
Carlos Rivas and Carlos Asquez,
No, no.
forever a lion.
We definitely know
No,
you're joking on that one.
well, we've had a lot of great legends. When it comes to Nani, when it comes to Kaká, but I feel Nani was the man, and I think that is the representation of Orlando City turning the tide to what we have now. And so to me, as someone that wasn't too hot in Europe when he came, but took a chance in the MLS, still with gas in the tank, putting away all these rumors that the MLS is a retirement league. And he betted on a world champion, betted in little good old Central Florida to be his new home. And it really paid high dividends because it made it easier for Oscar and his coaching staff to handle the back end building of the club. Because when Oscar came in, and with all due respect, the years before Oscar, there wasn't, it was just a club that was, it was going to be a San Jose Earthquakes 2.0.
Yeah,
And
we were going nowhere.
yeah, there was no direction, there was nowhere to go. And Oscar came in with already some failure from Mexico, but he said, "Hey, I'm going to do what I did with Dallas, but I need someone that's going to take the pressure off the field." And Nani was, "Hey, I'm a UEFA Champions League winner. I can do it." So I felt like kind of like what Marta is for the Pride right now. It's what Nani became for Orlando City. It was that change of the tide. And I think that was huge. It really hurt when the MLS's back happened and he wasn't able to achieve a championship with Orlando. Because clearly, if he would have achieved that championship with Orlando, it would have superseded and surpassed anyone in front of him, I believe. That would have been massive. Nani was a big part. It was the beginning of what Orlando City is today as an organization.
For sure. I think he put it well there. Like he was a good ambassador in that situation and really was the star guy and kind of kept us alive and exciting enough and was had the team on his back while Oscar kind of figured out a lot of the other stuff. I was always impressed by just how, like you said, his athleticism and how well he took care of himself. At 34 years old, he was like one of the fittest guys on the team. We can't always say that for every guy that's over 30 and joins this league. So Nani, a great shout, an incredible player for this club, and yeah, shame that we lost Portland in that MLS back final. Man, it would have been that's one that could have been. All right, who is your favorite Orlando City person? Now, this is not a player, but this could be a coach or a staff member or any fan or anybody around the club that you know.
Well, I mean, obviously, covering the team has brought me um, a lot of friendships and also a lot of familiar faces every year. I'm gonna start, but obviously, you and Paola are a huge part. I think they're two. my favorite people in general from this whole uh, adventure with Loud and Proud and with Orlando City and covering the teams. But also, there's a lady that's always there in security. She speaks Spanish. I really forgot her name. I feel terrible if she's every game there, and she already knows me, and so it's just so easy. Like she's so nice. Everybody in the staff when you go in is great. Like they're always very attentive. Everybody in the front office since I started there was just been so kind. But I believe also Alonso, obviously being able to going from kind of like I reported for him to him not knowing me so well to develop a really good friendship. He's been definitely tremendous. Getting to meet Jackie, getting to meet Oscar, getting to meet Mike Ramajo, Austin David, Michael Citro, like those guys. You learn a little bit from everyone, and so I think it's been great for me. But if I will have to pick, definitely you and Paula are been the most important people, my favorite people
Yeah,
at least.
we have a lot of fun making the podcast together. Yeah, you're definitely one of my favorite Orlando City people for sure, Luis. I mean, it goes through changes, right? As different times. I mean, I worked with lots of people at the club, and then now I'm more of a fan, and a lot of my time around the club I spend with you and Paula, and it's yeah, like I said, we enjoy making the podcast together. So if you have not checked it out, go check out Loud and Proud
Yeah, Loud and
Orlando
Proud.
for sure. All right. Always got to plug, Luis. Always got to plug. All right. What is your game day ritual now? So kind of describe your average game day, and do you have any game day superstitions?
So I literally have a 2 hour drive.
Yeah. By the way,
So
I got to say, sorry to interrupt you, but I have mad respect for the fact that you take that drive. And like for people who don't realize, that is the worst stretch of road because it's just I-4 between Tampa and Orlando, and you have no choice. And there's Disney traffic, and if there's traffic, you are just sitting there. You can't go anywhere. You're just sitting on a highway. So when Luis says he drives back and forth on one of the worst stretches of road that you could drive back and forth on. So you always have my respect for that, Luis.
no, my pleasure.
And any other fans that drive that far. It's a real commitment.
Yeah, I mean we're in it. Like I said, I'm in it to be a positive influence. I feel very strongly about the city, not just Orlando City, but the city of Orlando. It's that, like I said, it's like my hometown. So for me, it's like being able to give a little bit of me to something that I truly am passionate about and make a difference. It's tremendous for the growth of the sport. It means a lot to me. So rituals, essentially, I just I have a 2 hour drive, so I like to send like put something on the socials early on, and then I kind of read some news around what's happening, if there's the last minute news. And then what I like to do is I put something on IG usually. And then I spend time with my family until I have everything prepared. I have tripods and my camera. I have my iPad. I have a phone. like I have my laptop, my
Yeah.
chargers, like all that good stuff. I have an umbrella, like got all of that kind of stuff because it rains, and I literally do the drive. I usually not superstitious, but I do always wear this little piece of jewelry. It has my daughter's name, Elena. So I
That's fair.
always
That's
always I
yeah.
always always
That's like a
have
good luck
this.
charm.
Yep. And then I always have this chain. It's like my grandmother gave it to me. She passed away when I graduated college, so it has a lot of sentimental value, and so I wear it every home game, just kind of as a good luck type of thing. It's not bling bling or anything like that,
Yeah.
but I just like
Yeah,
but
a lot of people have that, like lucky boxers or socks, or
uh,
yours is
just make sure you
some
wash your
nice
boxers.
sentimental, just some sentimental jewelry. Yeah, those Wednesday, Saturday game days, you got to do a lot of laundry.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's and then when you get to the stadium and you're going through the like the media entrance, and you go up to the press box, and you've got food, and so it's kind of a I think a lot of people don't realize, but like obviously, you guys are there to cover, but it does take a lot to do everything
Yeah,
from
yeah.
writing the game report to having making sure if you've got somebody taking pictures to getting those pictures on, getting them uploaded, doing all the socials. There's everybody who covers the club like that. There is a lot of moving parts that you have to do.
Yeah, shame on people that talk crap about journalists that we just go there to eat the muffins or to eat the bagels there. Because, technically you don't know what you're talking about. Like
I mean,
like
it's a
so
job.
like
It
like
is.
you don't know
It's
like
a
you don't
commitment and
know.
hours of a job that a lot of people are not getting paid for.
I could be spending time with my beautiful daughter and still maybe watch the game on Apple TV. But I for me it's more than that. It's not so much being famous. It's not so much even like making this huge amounts of profit. It's to me it's just what kind of impact. To me, legacy, history, legacy is super important. So when my daughter is 12, 13, and sees this was my dad 5 years ago, and he's informing, talking about the team, and she can tell her friends, hey, so something that's impactful. Not only that, but for other people that may not know the sport, have an outlet or have somebody that can treat them as a person and talk to them without make them feel bad to be a know-it-all. Because there's a lot of people that think they're know-it-alls
It's
about
a
the
new
sport,
sport in this country. I think
right?
that's people forget
you know
that. Yeah.
there's people that think that they're know-it-alls, that they've watched soccer. I've watched soccer 50 years of my life. Okay, good for you, but not a lot of people, man, care. So I like to talk to people, like I would talk to my dad, like I would talk to my daughter. I like to
Mhm.
talk to people normally and be myself and project my positivity, my PMA, positive mental attitude, to really leave a something there. And it's not so much what I'm going to get out of it. It's just more of it of like, what change am I making? you
Yeah.
know
I
if
mean, it's giving back to a community that you want to be a part of and want to, yeah. I mean, I think that's a lot of,
It's a
like we've
community I
talked
grew up
about.
with.
Yeah, I think that's all a lot of the people in that press box, and like I know for myself, and that's what motivates us is being able to create stuff for the fans. And I think a lot of the time when we're making content together, Luis, it's we're making stuff that we would want to watch or answering questions that we want to have answered ourselves because we have that fandom. And one of the things that we feel we can do is go out there and talk about the team and create content and have opinions when not everybody feels comfortable doing that. So I think it's nice that you said that you spend time to talk to people and educate. I think as well, a lot of people in this country, we forget it's a sport that we know a lot about because of our histories and things, but not everybody does. And so it's not always good to talk down to people who don't understand the sport.
Yeah,
Sometimes a little bit of understanding and a little bit of, okay, well, let's explain to you how this works,
yeah.
is always needed.
Or like give another perspective, right?
Yeah.
Like I think that's the recipe of at least I would like to say LPL success is we're not talking to you like we are pundits with our with our little suits, and we're not talking to you like that, like it's a newspaper or like a news, Fox News or a CNN or whatever. We're talking to you like normal people that really are passionate about the sport, and we're willing to give you guys some insight of our perspective. And if you agree, great. And if you don't, we're also going to reach you. We're also going to talk to you. We also appreciate you, and that to me makes a hell of a difference. Now, also, it does help. I will say I grew up on the DIY mentality. The DIY mentality, if for people don't know, it's do it independently yourself. So to me, it goes into that, making a change, making a difference. I grew up listening to bands like Black Flag and into the punk rock, hardcore punk vibes in Orlando. So I We I used to go to shows at Uncle Lou's. I know if people are watching may still go to shows to Uncle Lou's. Well, I used to have a band back in the day. So we actually used to play a lot of shows in Uncle Lou's when they first started. Will's Pub, Back Booth. At that time, it
Yeah.
used to be called. Now it's called something different. The Social. So I grew up on that DIY mentality, do it independently yourself, screen printing your own shirts, doing your own flyers, passing the word around on the street about what your band and what it meant. Got to meet a lot of people, a lot of bands from other states too that had the same mentality. And I think growing up on that particular set of kind of values, kind of as I grew older and I started doing this, I did it not so much of how much money am I going to get? I mean, eventually that's going to happen. And, why not? Right. At that point, you have to have an open mind to that. But at this time, I feel like, what legacy am I leaving? Am I happy doing this? Do I feel a satisfaction giving to people? And I feel like that is what truly motivates me. And it's fantastic. And that's one of the reasons why I have that mentality of kind of always making a difference when it comes to at least my work.
We're talking there a lot about the community and being part of that community. I think that,
Yeah.
of course, for us is like very important to this. What would you say is like one of the parts of the club that you enjoy the most? Maybe it is that community, or maybe it's something else, or maybe there's just part of the club that you go, actually, I really like this about Orlando City.
I just love the fact that the club came down to one of the poorest areas of Orlando, which is Paramore. And I used to go there because where I think there's a couple of when there's a church's chicken, I live down.
Yeah,
There's like this
OMBT.
empty parking lot and stuff like that. All of that used to be there used to be a lot of homes, and one of those homes there used to be a collective. It's called the Black Box Collective. They used to also host underground punk rock and hardcore shows back in the day in Orlando. A lot of people may not know. A lot of people, if you're watching and you
I didn't
remember,
know about that place.
yeah, yeah. So when the club came in, they used to do food to people there. It used to be a collective,
Yeah.
and so it used to do a lot of good. Eventually, when the club took over, they cleaned up with the mayor all that area. It's unrecognizable, believe it or not, even though some people still complain, but it's unrecognizable. If you would have seen it how it was before the club got there, you would have been surprised what it used to be. And what I love about Orlando City and what I really enjoy, and it's just how forward thinking the club is. I just think that the way the club is now structured is forward thinking. It's not backwards thinking. We could be like LAFC. And a lot of people may ask, LAFC wants Heung-Min Sung. Why can't we do that? Well, if you will bring players like Heung-Min Son, players like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, players like Lionel Messi, where are you going to be? Where are your Alex Freeman's going to come into place? Players that are truly identified with the badge, truly identified with the city, that have a smile on their face doing what they do. And so I love the fact that they're being forward thinking when it comes to youth and development. They're investing in not only in helping the community, they do a lot of community events, but also now the pride is being dragged in into also doing youth and development of players. And so to me, that is forward thinking. As yes, we want the results. Yes, we want, improve the quality of soccer, but we want to also improve the quality of soccer in the States. We want to be forward thinking. We want to have equality, be a club that, believes in those type of core values. And I believe that Orlando City is building a blueprint that they're following to the T now. And so, yes, I want to win. But I also want to, like I said, what I do in LPO, I want to leave a legacy. I want something more than just lifting a cup and hit repeat. Yes, you can have 30 million cups, but if no one really cares about you and your brand, and players come and go every season, like what grassroots, how can, there are clubs in England, John, you probably know, that they mean a lot for a lot of local
Yeah,
communities.
you got to start building those roots. I mean, I think we're getting to the point now with guys like Taifi that are having watched Orlando City as a kid, then been through the academy dreaming of playing for the first team and now plays for the first team. And that's only just starting to happen, but it's also happening on the fan side. We're getting second, third generation Orlando
City
City
fans
fans who are being brought to games at the age of 2 and then, loving that, and then
become
forever Orlando City
teenagers.
fans. Yeah, I
Yep.
mean it's great. I love seeing the young Orlando City fans. It makes me so happy to know that there are more people out there that's going to be that next generation, Luis, because we're getting older, buddy. So
Yeah, I know.
got to take over. The youth needs to take over soon. All right, what does Orlando City mean to you personally? This is a deep one.
Well, Orlando City is it's definitely, I feel, and I get this from a lot of the people from Peru, even my own family and even my own friends from my other podcasts. They tell me you're more of an Orlando City fan than you're an Alianza Lima or Peru fan. And I'm like, yeah, I think so because I live there. I'm not in Peru. So, I just think that I am Peruvian at heart, but I am an American as I can be. I feel I came when I was 14, and all I know is Central Florida. So to me, Orlando City is a club that represents what truly Central Florida is since its inception, since I saw him at that Newcastle game. So represents the city I love, where my parents live, where my sister is, when I fell in love for the first time, went to high school. So it's to me, and not only that, I mean, they're a good soccer team. They're forward thinking, then doing a lot of good in the community. And that to me, it's what they mean. It's more than a soccer club. I know it sounds a little bit cliche, kind of like Barcelona, Messi un club, but it is kind of more than a soccer club for a lot
Yeah,
of people. There's been people that have met and gotten married in it from Orlando City games. I think it's one of the teams that have had the most impact also sports wise. I mean, the pride in Orlando City, I think soccer, it's winning over basketball, over hockey. Now Orlando City is becoming more like of what Portland is right now in a way.
for real.
They're
Yeah.
more soccer oriented now. You go to a bar, you see people with their Orlando City jerseys or Orlando City patch. You get to talk about soccer. It's becoming that soccer hub. I think Orlando, that's what it represents to me at least.
I like that answer. Alrighty, give us your favorite spot in Orlando. Now, back in the day, this might have been one of these dive bars that you went to go to, and maybe now you have like a different kind of place you like to
No, I
go.
still go. No, I have some good places.
Not all of them exist still, I know, right? But
Yeah,
like when you come on a game day now, maybe there's somewhere you like to go eat before, or I know a lot of people have a part of town or like a restaurant or somewhere that they connect to the club as well. So some people like every game day they go to this place. Do you have places like that?
I always were around Pine Street. And so I used to hang out a lot in Tanqueray. I don't know if they're still open.
I don't think
Obviously.
I've been in Tanqueray in like 8 years, 10
All right.
years.
So Tanqueray, I used to go to Tanqueray, and then across the street was Back Booths. Bento Cafe is in a Japanese restaurant. It's just
Yeah.
literally by the movie theater. I used to love the Japanese spot.
That was like one of the only places that get like Asian food in downtown
Yeah,
for
yeah,
like sushi in downtown.
yeah. It was great. And then Pita Pit, obviously.
Yeah.
Pita Pit, the vegan
R.I.P. the
hot dog
pita pit.
guy. Yeah, the vegan hot dog guy was like right across, trying to compete
Hmm.
with them. And then Pita Pit was good. And there's a Peruvian spot. There's like a hole in the wall. It's off Orange Ave.
Okay.
It's called Brasas Chicken, and they do rotisserie chicken, but they do some Peruvian dishes.
Mm.
Freaking phenomenal. If you ever go, you should go there. I know it's a
Where is
cheap
this,
plug.
Luis? You gotta tell
It's
me where
right up.
this is.
It's right past Pulse of Orange
Is this orange like downtown?
downtown.
Okay. All right, I'm
Yeah,
gonna find
so
it.
it's called Brassus Chicken. It's really
All
good.
right, I'm gonna check
Like,
that
it's a
out.
hole in the wall. It's a really small restaurant. Probably doesn't even fit like not even 100 people there,
All right.
but it's like really good, like really home style. So those three places, I think I always go. I always like to to get food from or to go, or I'll come maybe if I come an hour before the doors open for the press.
Yeah.
There's been times that I've gone to Bento and just eat
Go grab
some
some food.
lunch, yeah. And then I don't even eat the food for sometimes from the from 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 the catering and stuff like that they give there. But some of those places bring a lot of memories for sure.
All righty. Well, do you have anything else you want to let the people know or anything you want to tell us before we let you go?
No, well, keep supporting Forever Alive, subscribe and drop your like and your thumbs up. You can follow Loud and Proud Orlando at LPO_podcast on YouTube, Facebook, X as well. You can follow me at Pineda, PINEDA_ORL on X. And yeah, I'm just happy to be here. Thank you, John, for the invite. Hopefully you guys get to know a little bit more about me. I know that sometimes it's tough because of the time and to kind of be more present, but for sure, I'm gonna do my due diligence to be more with the people there.
Yeah, and hopefully the listeners of LPO will get to know a little bit more about you and your story and where you came from. I think that's always important. Like we said, we don't really talk about who we are as much. We don't have time for all that. We got a lot of news to cover
Oh, you
and
don't.
a lot of things happening all the time with Orlando City, Orlando Pride. So like we said, come check out our podcast there that we do every Monday at 6:30. We talk Orlando City, and at 8 o'clock we talk Orlando Pride. Luis, I appreciate for you being here, buddy.
No
It was
problem,
a
my
lot
friend.
of fun. Stick around for more episodes of Forever Aligned. I got a lot of very cool guests lined up as we kind of go with different people around the club. So stay tuned and thank you very much for listening.